welcome to the
Animation Lunchbox.
All right, this is the first episode, and we're just gonna go around this room and talk about who we are and how we got into the program and where we're from, stuff like that. So we'll start with Tyler.
Okay. Hi, my name's Tyler Nardone. I'm from Brantford, Ontario, Canada. And animation. I got into animation because when I was a kid, I watched The Simpsons nonstop. Like, I would watch it on TV and they would repeat episodes 3 hours later and I'd watch them all again. And I thought it was the best thing ever. And when I learned that someone's job was to just draw The Simpsons and get paid for it, and they create a TV show, I knew I wanted to do it. And then I took a career aptitude test where I think I was in like grade 3, and I got animator. So that that was my thing. That's what I wanted to be. And now I don't want to work in The Simpsons at all. But yeah. So what I knew about Sheridan is that my dad went here in the 80s for graphic design. So he would tell me stories about the school. And I'm a couple years younger than my sister. So as my sister was preparing to go to college, she chose Sheridan. And I started looking into it, and I found out that they had an animation program, and it wasn't until I started really looking into it in like grade 12 that I found out it was like one of the top animation schools in the land. So
damn right.
In the land of
Canada.
Canada.
Great Plains.
And then it took me 2 tries to get in. Well, on my second try, I got in.
Nice.
That's 2 tries.
All right, Evan,
Yeah,
you're up.
me.
Hi, I'm Evan
He's
Bruce
the shy one.
from St. Catharines. And I grew up on classic Disney films. My favorite one was 101 Dalmatians. I think I watched that every day for like a year when I was like 3 or 4.
It's a classic.
Where my mom just got lazy. She's like, here, sit down and watch this. But no, like, I knew I wanted to do something in the arts. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And it wasn't until grade 11 there was a Sheridan rep that came to my high school and showed us like portfolios from animation students that got in, and they were so cool. And like that's when I decided it. And I didn't find out till later that it was super hard to get in. And it took me 3 tries.
I feel you on that one.
But yeah, that is it. That is that. Do not be, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, don't lose motivation if you don't get in on your first try.
Keep going.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that all later.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah, totally.
Like we don't.
Anymore.
Yeah.
Anyways, take it away, Mark.
Alright, so my name's Mark Piedra, and I'm from Cambridge, Ontario. So, I'm a homegrown boy. I'm from around here. And I've wanted to do something in the arts probably since, I was a kid. But I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I didn't really think of animation, honestly. But when I was a kid, I loved all animated movies. Like, specifically, I used to watch, like, Toy Story and Lion King, all the time. Like, my parents needed me to, like, shut up and sit down. They would just put on, like, Toy Story, and I'd be, like, locked out for, like, an hour and a half. But I didn't really know what I wanted to do. But so my dad, who used to work at Sheridan in the continuing education department, mentioned that they have a really good animation program. It's highly ranked around the world. So I was like, all right, it sounds interestingly enough. But I wasn't really sure. I was still a toss between that and graphic design. In high school, I took a graphic design co-op and found it was extremely boring and tedious. If I probably was going to do that, I'd probably blow my brains out. But so I decided animation probably sounds more fun. It's more artsy, and it's just just a wonder around it. So I went to Sheridan for art fundamentals, hearing that if you took art fundamentals, it would help you get into animation, which I soon found out that wasn't exactly the case. It helps, but it doesn't entirely help. So, I spent a couple years trying to get into animation. Finally got in this year after taking the portfolio workshop, and here I am.
In Toronto?
Yes.
Yeah.
APW.
APW.
You should take it if you're looking for, some guidance to,
That doesn't. That
Definitely helps.
They don't have you can't take OSAP with that, can you?
No, it's not like a registered school.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
So make sure you have money too.
Yeah.
Just
Bring
ask
in-
your bank. Beg your bank.
Beg for money. Okay.
Big that bank.
My name is Danielle Harmon, and I'm from Bradford, Ontario, Canada.
Not Brantford.
Not Brantford, not Stratford.
There's a difference.
Bradford.
And she's not Harmond
I'm Harmon
with an N.
with Harmon.
It's Daniela Harmon.
Danielle Harmon. Would you want me to spell it out?
Daniela Harmon.
No. Danielle with an E at the end. And not man, Harmon.
All right, let's go, Danny.
Alright. So, as a child, I always watched cartoons. I was always into some new television show that had something to do with cartoons, and I grew up watching like Balto and All Dogs Go to Heaven and Aristocats, Robin Hood, and I just always wanted to draw cartoons. I never knew what an animator was until like grade 6 when my reading recovery teacher printed out all the requirements to get into the Sheridan program of animation and the Seneca program, and she basically said to me, well, based on your reading ability, you won't get into Sheridan.
You said grade 6?
Yeah.
In grade 6?
That's pretty early to say that.
Yeah, so anyways, you could see the faith my teacher had in me as a young child.
Shut you
But
down that early.
I proved her wrong, and I'm in the program. Yeah, it took me, I applied 3 times, and I got in on my 3rd try. So again, yeah, don't give up, guys. If it's what you want to do, then keep going for it.
Go and do it.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
Go
Don't
on.
let your dreams
Alright.
Don't
be
let your dreams be dreams, guys.
Yeah.
Don't.
Alright,
Just
bringing
do
it full circle. I'm Nico Powell, I guess. And I'm
You
from
guess.
Honolulu, Hawaii. Yeah. I go back and forth sometimes.
You're the only person not from.
Yeah,
He's
I'm not from
exotic.
Canada.
He's the.
Boo! I'm
He's our,
joking.
he's our
Joking.
token, like, foreign exchange.
Yeah.
but
You're our
token.
fez. Hey guys.
Yeah, I have to one up Danielle here, and I I started getting into animation when I was in grade 5.
Woo!
And
Hey, I wanted to draw cartoons
know.
since I
There you go.
was little.
But yeah,
Yeah, but he
I
knew about
grew up
it.
on classics as well, but not Disney classics. My first experience was with Miyazaki, and that's my total inspiration for and aspirations for animation. Yeah, my parents had me watching Spirited Away. I think was probably like the first movie I
Great
ever saw,
movie.
like first
Really?
animation movie.
Great movie.
To watch that.
It's
That's
awesome.
that's actually like a pretty. And you, how old were you?
In 5th grade, I don't know something.
So you're pretty young.
Yeah,
Wow.
That was probably right
yeah.
when it
That's
came
when
out.
like in 5th grade was when I would come home from school. And I'd pause Miyazaki's movies and I'd draw them. I would
Wow,
like
look at
go
that.
through it like frame by frame and I'd try to draw what he was drawing.
Oh, you
Draw
knew.
a
He
lot
goes
of-
ahead. He was ahead of the game.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so I in high school or in ending years of high school, like junior senior stuff, I was looking around for what schools would be best for animation because I knew I wanted to get a good start, and I eventually heard about Sheridan and it seemed like the best fit, and here I am. I did 2 tries, went through first year VCA here and then got in on my 2nd try, but yeah.
Did you take the animation workshop?
I did on
There you
my
go.
Yes, he did.
while I was
two
in
of them
first
did.
year of VCA, I was alongside Mark over here. We were different classes, but
We didn't know each other at the time.
Not
but-
It was meant to be.
well acquainted now.
Actually, though, I took two summer drawing classes with an animation teacher.
Who?
Brian Haladin.
Yeah.
He
Brian
teaches-
Haladin?
He teaches what? 3rd year what?
Cool.
He teaches 3rd year life drawing. Yeah.
Man, I just can't get over the image of like grade 5 Nico, like in beautiful Hawaii, like
Yeah.
dark in his room,
Sketching
drawing,
Miyazaki
everyone's like,
drawings.
let's go to the
Yeah.
beach. He's like,
Yeah.
no.
No, I
Where's the beach?
drawings.
He knew from the start.
Yeah.
So how accurate is Lilo and Stitch to what Hawaii actually
That's
looks like?
fairly accurate. We have a big city on my island, but if you go to some of the other islands, it's pretty much like Lilo and Stitch, which was cool. I mean, Dean and the other director. Sorry, we
Dean
don't
DeBlois?
remember non-Sheridan grads.
We're pretty bad.
Oh!
Oh.
But
Shots fired.
anyways, they went to Hawaii and did all the research and stuff, so it's pretty. And plus, the light watercolor that they used was awesome.
It was Chris something. I remember the last
Yes,
name.
yeah.
I want to say Savino, but that can't be right.
No, because they're good
It
friends. the two of
was
them.
Dean DeBlois
Yeah.
and Chris Sanders.
Chris Sanders.
Sanders,
Oh, I
that's
should
his
remember.
last
And
name.
they
yeah.
worked on a lot of things together.
Sorry about that, Chris.
No, we don't mean anything about
You
it.
know.
If you ever watch this,
Yeah.
we're extremely sorry.
Like
When you
years-
hear
years
this-
from
We're
now,
only first years.
Yeah.
by the time he hears this, we'll probably be dead.
Dean DeBlois and Mr. Chris Sanders.
Awesome. All right, so the theme of our first and our maiden voyage of the podcast is the portfolio.
Woohoo.
Yeah, hoping that we might.
From where we started we will shed light on.
So many of you out there probably are trying to get into animation,
Yeah,
and we're
watching it.
trying to give you some helpful pointers and guide you in hopefully a direction of success.
We're gonna talk about our experience and how we went through each part of it, and maybe you can pick at some pieces of that and get some insight on how we ourselves were successful ultimately.
Definitely, if it sounds like we're saying to do something, take everything we say with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
we're only first years.
We are first years. We're not like amazing, despite what you might think of animation students. We're not fourth years. We don't know
that's
everything.
for sure. And even the fourth years don't feel like they're anything either.
So trust you, just you think you're alone and feeling insecure and worried. Don't worry. Even the fourth years that are as good as they are, they're
don't
taking
worry,
themselves.
that won't stop.
That you'll feel like that till
You'll
the day
feel
you
like
die.
till
So
the
just
end.
embrace it.
As my old teachers say, artists are all basket cases.
That's true. That's true. No, but seriously, like we're gonna give you the best advice we can, but take everything with a grain of salt. Because to be honest, I heard so many different things about what I should do, what I shouldn't do.
It's hard to sift through all that stuff.
And also what applies to your style too. Like I had some people tell me like, oh, you have to do it this way, and I'm like, that's like not my style at all. And they're like, well, this is what they like. So just whatever anyone says, try to listen and take the best.
That
And
phrase
so-
is thrown around a lot.
Try to filter. There's a lot of
Yeah.
rumors and stuff. Oh, you shouldn't do this, and don't do that. But some of it, a lot of it is just rumors and
Yeah.
But although
hearsay.
Enzo does love Looney Tunes.
Yeah, so
A lot.
a lot.
Yeah.
But
For anyone who
I'm not
doesn't
saying
know-
anything.
Yeah.
Nothing.
For anyone
Enzo,
who doesn't know
yeah.
who Enzo is, he's our first year character design teacher, and I'm pretty sure that he looks at the
Enzo
portfolio.
Volio is also the guy who I believe he is one of the reviewers for the character design section of the portfolio.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's a great segue into.
He
We should we'll break it down
loves
piece by
Looney
piece.
Tunes.
Yeah, and then we'll just we'll talk about what we did for that part, and we
Right.
could pull up a
Wanna pull the
rubric.
requirements?
Yeah.
Oh, what's
well,
her?
A rubric for
Here, I
the.
got it.
Danielle's.
Oh, Danielle's got it. She's getting ahead of the game.
So the first part was life drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Okay. So we can. Yeah.
Talk about that.
I'd
Definitely go
say-
to extra life as much as you can if
Yeah.
you're here.
And
Oh,
try
yeah.
to
Absolutely.
And if you're not, try and find some kind of local life drawing session if possible.
Yeah, usually you can find something. I mean, like, back at home for me, they had life drawing like Monday evenings at like the Art Institute over there. So usually, if they have a college, like most colleges that have an art program will have some kind of life drawing. So you can usually go in for like $5 or
Right.
$10.
Yeah. And there's some kind of art center, like in Cambridge, there's a Cambridge Center of the Arts, and they do
Yeah.
like drawing. It's like once or twice a week, so look into that. And if you're from Toronto or in the nearby area, you shouldn't have trouble finding that.
Right.
And I'd say if you're for your poses, I would keep them between like 1 minute and 5 minutes because
Oh yeah, definitely.
like in first year the longest pose we do is a 5-minute pose. So I would try to stick away from like 45 minutes sitting poses and show more of like movement in your life drawings.
Yeah, they definitely want to see more movement, but some of the longer poses are nice for knowing, like, building your knowledge of the structure.
Right.
Especially if you don't have like you want to shy away from like lines, like outer lines, like seeing kind of like a silhouette. You want to really dig into the interior of the form and like
Right.
Yeah, I may disagree with like the shorter poses. I think we should try and avoid doing like short 1 minute, 30 seconds, or
Yeah,
like,
don't do 30 seconds.
Like,
Don't
because
do-
unless you're like have absolutely stellar 1 minute drawings, I think you should stick
I
to
still
a
think
minimum
we
of
do
5 and
30
like maybe a high of 20. 'cause
I mean, yeah,
it'll
like
give you the time to develop the figure
Yeah.
and really like explore anatomy and show like the people looking at the portfolio that I know, what the human body is like.
I think
Right.
I did a 1, a 3, and a 5.
I did a 1, 3, and 10 on mine.
honestly,
Oh,
all of my
mine
life
were
drawings I think
long.
were 30 minutes plus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mine were like
Really?
my
Yeah.
shortest were 5. Yeah,
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, I was like,
And then there you go.
a variety of what you can hand in.
We definitely don't know what we're talking
I think it'd be like even for practicing though, I'd say like practice like you don't have to put them in your portfolio, but practice like 30 seconds to 5 minutes because you're gonna be doing that a lot.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Like
The longest that we do once you get into the program is 5
5 minute
minutes.
drawings, yeah. And the session you'll do like 3 of those. You're gonna do a lot of 30s and a lot of ones. Obviously, the shorter
Yeah.
time frame.
Yeah.
but
Get
they don't
warmed up.
really, they don't specify though on the sheet how long they want your,
No, they don't.
problem solving.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I did
Just submit your best.
long poses.
Like
Yeah.
they always say, submit your best drawings. Don't submit anything
And I
that's
even
below
went
that.
back and cleaned them up after the fact.
Oh.
Cheater.
Cheater. Oh, no.
I'm telling.
But also, guys.
Kick her out.
about.
Of animation.
Oh no. Also, I was just gonna say, when you get your requirements and stuff, try to get your hands on a grading sheet, and because it really breaks down what they look at when they grade that section. So if you're worried about line quality, they might not even be looking at your line quality. They might be looking at something else that you're not as like focused on.
Yeah.
So like for life drawing, they mark on line quality, proportions, structure.
Structure is a
and,
big thing.
Yeah.
For that.
Visual and volume, like how like it feels
Believability.
like it's a mass. It's not just like a flat drawing.
Like
Yeah.
definitely, if you're having trouble with anatomy, pick up some anatomy books or
Perspective.
any
Yeah.
other life drawing books or help a lot.
Any
Yeah.
Perspective
any
and
anatomy
sense of
books you
volume.
guys recommend?
Dynamic Force for animators is pretty good. What's the one we use in class? The Classical Anatomy. It's a yellow cover. I don't remember the author's name, but it's one of the recommended readings for us.
Do you
in first
remember
year.
the author for Dynamic Force?
Just look, type up Dynamic Force. I can't remember what the author's name is though.
While we find that, should we move
It
on to
is-
the hands?
Yeah, is
The
that the
animals.
next portion of the portfolio? Is the hands?
Hands and
Yeah.
animals,
Yeah,
right?
it's continuing part of that. Yeah.
I mean, hands, I guess, is pretty straightforward. The one thing I know that everybody like says to do that you can't go wrong is definitely include the wrist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
the whole
yeah.
forearm,
Oh, yeah.
but just
Don't
just do
cut
a
off
hand.
the hand.
Yeah.
Make sure you get the wrist in there.
Yeah, don't cut it off right at the palm. It's good to see where it's anchored. So
And
that
if possible, like do not photograph your hands and draw from there. Just draw your hands. There's one attached to your body.
Yeah, that was
Just
one
right,
thing
right
I
in front of you.
stress
Just
that,
draw
no
it.
photographs.
Yeah, I learned that last year was that even with your, I mean, it's sometimes nice to have photo reference for like your layouts and stuff,
Yeah.
but photos distort the actual, actual,
It makes it flatter too.
yeah, it makes it flatter too, so that, because like a photo is a flat image,
Right.
so it distorts the perspective.
It's always better to start from life. You know, it's hard sometimes to get like exotic zoo animals like in person, but like you have two hands in front of you. You might as
Yeah.
well draw one of them.
Yeah, I mean, people still use like photos for
For sure,
and
animals
stuff.
like it's
And-
understandable,
First
but
year, yeah.
for your hands, like there's really no excuse to take a photo and draw from
Yeah.
there.
And
Always better to do life studies though for anything.
the one thing I found with hands, because they want two hand drawings doing an action, is flip the paper and you'll be able to tell if proportions are off or if they don't look the same.
Yeah, I mean that's great. That's like animation already.
Yeah,
is
that's already-
flipping,
yeah.
So
Like
I-
I
keyframe
didn't even
use.
think of doing that for
Yeah.
my hand thing, like actually
Yeah.
flipping it like an animation.
Yeah. Because you'd be able to see it, like, if one hand, you'd see if, like, one, like, hand is smaller or, like, one of the fingers are shorter. Like, you'd notice right away.
I do have
Good
one
idea.
advice, which is do not do your hand drawings on newsprint.
Ugh.
I made that mistake,
Why?
and those are actually the ones that I submitted. But by the time I was finished, like it was newsprint with like blue pencil.
Oh,
What
What
are you
the-
doing with your
Like full
life?
size
Oh
newsprint?
my god.
Yeah,
would've-
no, it was
Full
like
size.
I cut the newsprint in half.
Oh,
but
That's a big no-no.
the
Yeah,
newsprint,
guys,
by the
paper.
time I was finished with that drawing, the newsprint was so fragile that I couldn't even take a picture of it.
ouch.
Like
Damn.
it would be all weird looking if I took a picture. It looked great in real life, but like just don't learn from my mistake, please.
It's a good
Yeah,
thing you
if they
included the
say
original.
any paper sizes that they want, like if they want something on 8.5 by 11, that's not a suggestion. That's a
That's
requirement.
yeah. We
Yeah.
give them 8.5 by 11.
Yeah.
As far as what type of paper, I
Yeah, if
don't
we were
think
gonna
they
get-
really care.
yeah.
Doesn't matter.
If you're giving any
Size.
advice, it is to stick to the rubric. I mean,
Yeah,
stick to what they tell you, because
They
they'll
wanna-
mark you off for just little things.
Make
If
sure you pay attention to anything that's bolded or underlined. Those are
Yeah.
things you have to do, and you'll guarantee lose marks if you don't follow that.
Yeah,
They wanna-
and that's stupid to lose marks for that.
they're-
You don't want to shoot
Yeah,
yourself in the
that's something
foot.
totally
Yeah.
preventable.
Yeah.
That you can easily just.
They're definitely looking to make sure you follow, like, instructions, too.
It's an easy way for them to, because they get a lot of applicants, so it's an
Yeah.
easy way to just
Yeah.
like toss somebody aside, because yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to give them any excuses to count you out.
to not look at your stuff. Also, for the animal drawings, don't worry about like trying to get any crazy like lions and tigers and stuff. If you have a dog and a cat, draw your dog and draw your cat.
Yeah.
I did my neighbor's, like my family friend lives down the street. I did their chickens and I did my cats. I like that was even something like when I went to the portfolio review, I asked about like animals and they're like, do you have a dog? Do you have a cat? And I'm like, yeah. And then they're like, draw your dog and cat. Like they don't really care what animal you draw. Just make sure whatever drawing you give them is good.
Yeah.
And they've
Yeah.
definitely said they're tired of seeing animals from the ROM.
Yeah.
Like they said
They
they have
know.
names for all of the animals, like the rhino, they have a name for it or whatever.
Though you can still submit them if you do a good job. Like
Yeah.
I did
Submit them,
both my
but-
drawings were ROM drawings, but
Yeah.
I got 3s and that's it. So
I remember going to like the animation like seminar and they're like, yeah, we see them all the time. They're like, if you want to draw an animal that like that, maybe go to the zoo.
Yeah.
Or, like
Yeah.
draw
The
your
zoo's
dog.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
zoo's
zoo's
great.
good.
Yeah, in locally here, I went to the ROM to do drawings, but that was, I mean, to learn structure a little bit
Yeah,
more.
it definitely helped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're not moving.
Yeah, but like locally, there's the zoo, and there's Reptilia, which I don't
Yeah.
think a lot of people know about, but
Yeah, it's a reptile house.
But yeah, it's great. It's
Yeah.
just because it's inside, so you can go in the winter and it's warm and humid, which I'm
Mhm.
used to.
And I mean, if you have any family friends that own
Farmers.
farm
Yeah.
animals,
There.
Any live animals near
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
The Royal Winter Fair.
Yeah,
definitely.
Royal Fair. You
Yeah.
can look at like I know in my town there's like an animal sanctuary for like rescued
Cool.
animals, and you can go and draw. They have like everything. Go draw there.
What, at an animal shelter?
An animal shelter, kind of. It's
Just
like
top
that?
those from cages.
That would
True.
probably help. I mean, if you like, I think my little sister right now is volunteering at like animal shelter, so that would be a great opportunity to be able
Yeah.
to draw animals.
Yeah, so it's,
or
touching back on the rom drawings for a second, like it's not so much that they're boring, it's just that they've seen them so many times, they know what the animals look like. It's that
Yeah.
if you make a mistake, they'll know it immediately because they've seen them so many times. They
That's
know
true.
what they look
Aren't
like.
some of the animals also prehistoric, so their anatomy is different?
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's like horses
Yeah.
with like 2-part hooves, like clove
Oh.
hooves or whatever.
They actually got rid of that section.
they?
Though. They don't
Oh,
exist.
okay.
It was their skeletons, but they don't. They got moved and
Oh,
removed
okay, I
them.
see.
Yeah.
Oh,
Remember Klaus was telling us about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
and Klaus is our life drawing teacher.
First year and second year life drawing teacher.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Woohoo!
I love him.
Shout out.
Yeah, he's great.
He's so good.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
What's the next one? Is it?
Next one's
Oh.
character design. Yeah.
Oh.
Fun times. Let's see.
Should they stay away from anime?
I think we should just talk about
Oh.
like
I just-
our characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. I mean, like like Mark Marison when he did that like in like the presentation thing for the portfolio, he said he's like we don't know anime, but he's like he showed us some stuff that like Hayao Miyazaki, his stuff is very like it is anime, but it's not like
It's very
It's
hardcore.
subtler,
exactly. It's
like,
not
more
like
subtle.
Inuyasha, Naruto.
Well, it's
like
like
structure
it has
change.
there's form to
Yeah.
it. You feel the weight
exactly,
to them.
yeah.
Well, he's like intentionally rebelling from anime.
He actually
Yeah.
hates anime most
Yeah,
of the
I
time.
know,
It's
but that's
anime.
what a lot of people
Yeah.
consider him anime just because he's Japanese.
Yeah.
That's why. But anyways, like he showed a couple like drawings or like characters that got into the program, and they were like anime influenced, definitely.
Right.
And he said that he's like, but they did it well. There's volume, there's shape. It's not like a flat person
Yeah.
on paper.
Definitely,
That's
yeah.
why we
It goes
say
back to the requirements.
Yeah.
Yeah, what they want.
Yeah.
exactly what
Yeah,
they
like
want.
like
And
my
he says,
we could just go around and like my character was, I don't know how many of you guys did like things.
Yeah.
But like Danielle, I myself did a just like this old guy, and he was like an adventurer, and he had a pipe and a mustache, and I don't know, it was just a character that I liked, so I thought it was cool, and I wanted to do it more. So that's a great inspiration for you. If you really connect to your character, then it's so much easier to work on it because you're gonna spend
Right.
hours.
Yeah.
So love your character.
And make sure, like, before I interrupt Tyler, what somebody say is like, just make sure you do something you like. Don't do something you think, oh, this will be successful. This will score high.
Yeah.
Do something you really enjoy, because they'll tell like you put a lot of work and love into it, because you really enjoy designing the character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't do
See
something just
passion.
because someone says they like that.
Yeah,
it's
That's
like,
oh,
the
do this 'cause
phrase
it's,
you hear
you know,
so much.
yeah.
It's like they like
I-
to see this, so do it.
In
Just-
regards to that, I heard a rumor, don't do anthropomorphic characters, because they don't like anthropomorphic characters, but second semester, first year, it's all anthropomorphic characters.
Yeah.
So,
do what you want. If you
do-
draw furries, then
if you draw furries,
Draw furries.
let your furry flag fly.
just do it well.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
don't-
tastefully.
Yeah,
Yeah. Man, so yeah, I guess my character for the portfolio that got accepted was based on my roommate at the time, and at first I think he was kind of into it because I was drawing him as like this buff UFC fighter, and then eventually his character kind of devolved into some fat beach guy.
Yeah.
We all have such high
Yeah, I
hopes
think
in
my
it.
actions
That's
for him were
usually-
he was like putting a flag on a sandcastle he built, and then the other one was like he was doing like kung fu moves on a beach.
Nice.
But yeah, it was fun. Like I definitely spent I came up with the character in like I don't know, probably over the summer, and then I just kept working on it, and right up until the very end. Like, I mean, this isn't great advice, so don't do this, but I finished my rotation of him the day before the
Wow.
portfolio was due.
Oh god.
That's
But I had
scary.
spent like from August until that time just
Right.
constantly like
Tweaking.
then I would ditch it and I'd go to other characters, and I'd come back, and I kept coming back to this one because
Yeah.
just somehow I don't know, something clicked. Because
Yeah.
maybe because it was based on my roommate, I thought it was funny, so I definitely had a connection to it.
So be like Tyler and start early.
Yeah, start early.
And
Like,
even though Tyler jumped around a lot, make sure you stick to one character. You can try to explore different ideas, but like don't change it last minute. Don't do that.
I did
But
that
I mean,
the
if
first
you-
time. I switched 2 weeks before. A bad idea.
no, because like the more you draw the character, the better you get
Yeah.
at them because
Right,
you become
but
more familiar with them.
If the character is not working, it could just be a structure issue too.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Just try shifting proportions and playing with it, and you never know. You might get something you like.
But like I was done my portfolio a week before it was due. Like I was
That's good.
sitting there like terrified because everyone around me was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And at this point it was my third attempt. And I was like, I don't know anymore. Like I'm just gonna like
Didn't it worry you to not want to work? Because I would
It
always,
did,
I
it
always
did.
like if I was done a week early, I would feel like anxious that like
I
I'm not
was.
working on to the last
I
minute. Like, what if I missed
stayed out
something,
of
or
the
what?
pit
What if I did
because
this?
everybody was the pit is a place in Sheridan. If you're like if you're a Sheridan person and you're trying to get into animation, you're very aware of what the pit is. If you're not, it's basically this open area where like fundies and VCA kids like have space to work on their projects. And so when portfolios start to get crunch time, it's full of kids doing their portfolios.
24 hours a day.
7
People
days
like
a week.
I know someone who was stuck there for like 3 days
Yeah.
straight.
Oh my
There's
God.
couches
Working on
there
it
It's
now.
not
though.
comfortable.
There
I
were
know,
no
it's terrible.
couches when we were there doing that, but there are now.
So when I got waitlisted the second time, I got 4s on my character, and I did a monkey holding a monkey wrench,
That's cute.
and then so that was anamorphic. And then when I got in, I did a cowboy, an Australian cowboy, who instead of had a gun had a boomerang.
Nice.
And-
That's cool, actually. I like that.
One thing I would do is make sure you have a backstory for them because it helps with the character expressions and it helps with the posing for your 2 action shots.
Story is king.
Yes. And one thing with the action shots, if you're kind of stuck on what you should do, try thinking of like a sequence. So like for mine, he was like the first one was like he was about to throw he was like anticipating throwing his boomerang, and then for the second one he was prying it out of a crocodile's teeth. So like you could have like an action that's related. Like you could have one jumping over something and then him falling. Those could be 2 actions.
Yeah, I mean those are great action
Almost like
poses.
keyframes.
Right. So yeah.
And you can also, like,
Yeah,
flip those,
they
too.
grade
Yeah,
on the
you could-
character.
You could even flip. You could even make it so you can flip the action, which
Yeah.
would be cool.
They grade performance, believable character, line quality, proportions, structure, and then perspective and volume and shape, and they also grade creativity.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be anything in depth, but definitely have like a little backstory for your character. Like,
Make them very
Yeah, it
interesting.
definitely
Yeah.
helps to think of kind of personality you have, like, because certain character, like, depending on your personality type, you would act out certain things differently than someone else.
Right,
With-
right.
Yeah.
That was like the guy.
So it really
who
helps bring
did
life to the character for sure.
Yeah,
who
like
did
our.
Goofy,
oh,
and
sorry,
he
go ahead.
he asked the
Art
question.
Babbitt?
Yeah, Art Babbitt when he
Art Babbitt. Google him if you don't know
yeah
him.
when he went like back
He
in
married
time.
Snow White.
Yeah, he did. When he was doing like Goofy, he like went into depth and like would ask the question like, "What did Goofy eat for dinner?"
He was
like,
one of the first animators who did
So-
that.
He
Yeah,
did, no,
to
he
actually
started
do
that
go
for
back.
Disney.
Oh
to
yeah.
go
Yeah,
back
that's what
and
they
do
said.
backstories on them.
Right. Like
So,
what are they thinking about?
Yeah. What do your
Right.
what does your character eat for dinner, guys?
Yeah.
That's
Our
the
character
question.
design teacher even said, like, for one of our first assignments, because everybody wants to get into display cases, right? And especially for character design. And when our teacher put them in, Enzo, he said, the reason I put them in wasn't necessarily because they were, like,
The best drawn.
the best drawn, like, I don't know, something like that, or most detailed or something. He said it was because he wants to know more about them. Something about them made him want to know their story and what they were about,
Right.
instead of just like a very well drawn plain character, just a
Right.
fun, I don't know, expressive character that has a lot of story to them.
So, like,
And-
you'll probably hear this phrase a lot in animation or everything, but really it's like design with purpose. Like, so don't just design character because, oh, I want to draw this. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, but like if you want to have a really, really successful character, you gotta
Yeah.
think of like,
Don't
why
give
am
them a
I drawing
backpack
this
just
character? Like,
because-
why do they dress like this? Why do they act like that?
Yeah. I mean, the action poses can be a great tool for you to explore your character more because it's just like, what are they doing on a daily basis? Like,
Yeah.
what kind of activity?
And like it says
Yep.
on the sheet, like make them loose. Like so, just like let loose and just draw something. And like don't worry about cleanliness or how clean the drawing is. 'Cause you can always go back and clean it up later.
Yeah.
But don't be tight. Just loosen up and explore gesture. Kind of like how you figure draw in a way.
Yeah. Enjoy it. I mean, have fun. I know like the portfolio is like super stressful, and we'll talk about that later. But if you're not like at least enjoying or loving what you're doing, animation might not be your thing.
Right. Yeah, because there is some stress that will come with it, but like overall, like you're usually satisfied or happy with what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Masochism.
And it helps with all the people, you in your classes, your classmates, friends. Everyone's passionate. They all want to do a job, and it helps spur you on and push yourself. Right. So both times I applied to Sheridan, I did anthropomorphic characters.
Oh.
One was fox, the other was a wolf, and the first one I did actually got a perfect score. So back to what Danielle said. Anyone who said that don't do anthropomorphic characters, wrong. I did fine with that. But just have fun and do a character. I guess maybe what people think of anthropomorphic characters is think more Looney Tunes or even Zootopia. Don't think of like generic furry trash from the internet.
Whoa! Whoa!
But I mean, like it's what I mean. It's actually like a person's body with like an animal head. It's not anything that's really revolutionary.
Yeah.
Like doesn't. It's boring.
Make it unique to you.
Yeah.
I mean, no one can draw like you. I mean,
Yeah.
you can imitate someone's style, and anybody can do that, but no one can draw like you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And like one thing that I found to make a character more interesting is making sure they're not symmetrical. So like even if they're wearing a hat, if it's tilted to the side or something, or like one sleeve is rolled up, or I don't know, but like it just makes it like for the rotation, it makes it more interesting if it's not like completely symmetrical.
Yeah,
That
like one
makes
thing is
sense.
like certain clothing they can wear, you can really help bring out volume. If you feel characters lacking volume, add like maybe some boots or a coat or something.
Yeah.
Good to be action
The
poses, too.
volumetric portions of the clothing will help make you feel more solid.
And you only have to do three rotations.
Oh yeah, lucky you
This.
guys. You only have to do
Well
two
done.
rotations now.
Lucky you guys.
Do I have to do quarterback?
They're what is the one they don't have to do anymore?
I think.
Do you have it up there yet?
I
No,
can't
I don't
remember.
know.
Look it up.
It's on
I
here.
don't have the.
It's on the-
I don't
she
know if
doesn't
I
have-
have the
oh, there.
new
It doesn't
one.
matter if they don't have to do back view.
There.
'Cause that was
Oh,
literally
man.
the easiest.
They don't have to do 3/4 back and
Ugh.
back view.
3/4 back was such a
They don't even have
pain.
to do back view.
Yeah, back view's easy though.
Just
Yeah.
trace them.
Yeah, yeah, you literally flip
Yeah.
the front and trace it.
We
It's
did
a
that for a
silhouette.
head turn.
Yes, you're allowed to trace. I remember the first time I did the portfolio, whenever I traced anything, I felt super like, oh, I'm cheating, but that
Well,
was...
just like the
It's the
common
name of the
misconception
game.
of tracing is like, don't trace off someone else's drawing. There's nothing wrong with tracing your own drawing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Like, you drew them after all.
Yeah.
Probably should feel like you're cheating if you
I
just
know,
take like
it's-
a picture of Bugs Bunny and trace that.
Exactly.
That's
I'm gonna
what-
take some drawing by our
Undoubtedly
rabbits
cheater.
or milk call and trace it and be like, that's
Yes.
mine.
Do not put someone else's character
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
portfolio.
All original work, guys.
Even for your personal pieces.
It does happen, and
Oh my
it's
goodness.
It's pretty
Yeah.
obvious, but yeah,
It's
it
kinda
can
insulting.
happen, yeah.
Well,
Alright.
Danielle, your character.
My character. Oh, I did 3 characters. No. Well, yeah, but no. Let's see. My last character, I started designing her in the summer, but I kept her really simple. She was an athlete. She had like a ponytail and like shorts, and for action poses, I did her one lifting like a
Dumbbell?
kettlebell,
Okay. Oh yeah.
and then I had
What's it called?
my dumbbell.
I can't remember what that called.
Whatever. I had her
Everyone
lifting
knows.
a weight.
Yeah, what do you mean, yeah.
She was like squatting and lifting the weight, and then I had my other one
What, a
was
barbell?
No.
I don't
Dead
really-
weight?
I don't
What does it look like?
I believe. Oh, you know what? It might.
Is it the ball with the...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that's called.
Anyways, guys.
Anyway.
And then for my second action pose, I did her jumping rope. So,
Hey, those are athletic, and she's athletic. Look at that. The
Yeah.
backstory.
The backstory.
Yay.
Well, I mean, even if you don't have like a crazy backstory,
You don't
if you have
need
like
one.
a theme,
Or an occupation.
yeah.
Yeah. That's a
Make it
great
obvious
question.
what they
Does your
do.
character have a job? Like, show
Yeah.
them at their job.
Because of like maybe you're struggling with action poses. Sometimes I found that I'll come up with an idea of a character like, oh, what would they do though? What kind of action poses? I don't want to do something boring. I want to do something more exciting. So like,
Yeah, so if
Yeah.
you're like my girl, she was in workout clothes.
Think of what they are.
So
Yeah.
she's working out.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like their job. It could be a hobby that they'd like a
Yeah.
lot. Like if you have a kid who builds little toy airplanes, and one of the action poses could be him in like a box that's like an airplane
Yeah.
or something.
Oh, that'd be
right?
cool.
Also, though,
Gave you an idea.
don't
I'll steal
don't
it.
don't do poses. Like, there's a difference between action poses and poses. Make sure your character's doing something. Don't just be like, don't have your character like strike a pose and then strike
Yeah.
another pose. Because for my second attempt at the portfolio, I did a cross-dresser, and I had him just do like poses, like, I don't know, like
a runway or something.
Just like
kind of
walk
thing, yeah.
standing.
Like if you were taking a picture and someone's like, "Oh, pose for the camera." Like there was no action, there was no purpose to it. It was just doing an action. I got good on it, but I didn't get like the potential I could have got on it because I wasn't giving them what they asked for, which was an action pose.
So you got 3s?
Yeah, on character I did well, but yeah.
No, the action poses.
That was my second attempt. I didn't get in on that one.
No, I know, but like, what kind of grade did they give you for action poses on that?
Well,
Or
they
do you
gave
not
me
remember?
mostly 3s, but I think for like performance they gave me a 2 or a 1.
Okay.
Because it's broken down, again, if you look at the sheet, you get a grade, like a
Right.
1 to 4. So I got really well on most of it, but when it came to like story and performance, I got like 2s and 1s. Because there was no story, there was really no performance.
Okay, I see.
The best way to check is just show anyone. Ideally, someone who doesn't know much about animation or art. Just say, "What is this character doing?" And if they
Right.
can't tell what it is, it's not a good pose.
Yeah.
Like,
Same with expressions. Show people your expressions, and if they can't tell right away what that expression is, then rework it.
which leads us to the next one. We should probably move along a bit faster.
Yeah,
We don't spend too much time.
well, expression
So
sheet.
we only have one
I mean,
section
like,
left.
what can you say about expressions? Rotate the head, different
Squash and
angles of the
stretch.
head.
Squash and
the
stretch.
head.
Yeah.
Make sure you don't just move their mouth and their chin and their jaw stays the exact same. Make sure they
Everything's connected.
move. Like, another good way is to just get a mirror and emote.
And
Yeah,
Draw
that's a
yourself.
great exercise. Like animators in the industry do that. You just set up like a mirror
Vain.
and yeah.
Don't
Vain.
be.
Rotate the face too, like not just all the same
Yeah,
view.
like give
Yeah.
different
Like
angles.
Yeah, and also
Very
include the neck and shoulders if you can. Don't
Yeah.
just have a floating head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It helps, like, ground the character.
Right.
And you don't need to put the body in,
No.
like the waist or anything, and don't be scared to exaggerate it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
push it.
Push
Next
it.
is storyboarding.
Yay.
I would say
The first thing you need to do is draw whatever character you pick like 50 times,
Yeah.
and trace that character over and get the proportions down, and then just draw it in different angles and like get a really good sense of the
of
character.
the characters because
Yeah.
they will give you the characters and use the template they give you because they changed templates and a lot of the times people would Google the template and use the old template, and if they see you
I didn't
using
know
the
that
old
happened.
template,
It's
they'll
wide-
throw it out.
It's
It's
widescreen
widescreen
now,
now.
right?
It's
Yeah.
16 by
Yeah.
9.
Yeah.
The old one was 4 by 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There you have it.
So make sure you use the one that's given to you when you download the PDF package from Sheridan website.
Well, also, because obviously the storyboard panels themselves are pretty small, you can draw them on a bigger sheet of paper, but you have to
Right.
scan them in, put them in that template, and then provide the originals.
The originals,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, so if you're gonna go big, what I did was like bring that template into Photoshop and then make a rectangle the same size, and then like if you click shift and drag it, it'll keep like that proportion but just make it bigger.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Like
Yeah,
I would have
so
done that
easy.
if I had any. I went into the first year with absolutely no knowledge of Photoshop or any digital platform.
He's a caveman.
Yeah.
He lived on
All
an island, a
traditional.
tiny island.
Yeah,
for
just
most
me
of
and my
his life.
watercolors.
With no electricity.
Candlelit fires.
Candlelit fires with his Studio Ghibli on.
That's my
Somehow-
sole possession.
Somehow-
Now with no electricity,
No
you still watch
electricity.
No, it's steam powered though.
Yeah,
Steam
my
powered
portable
TV.
steam powered DVD player.
Yeah.
Keep throwing coal at it.
My advice would be ask everybody to like tell you what your story is.
That was great exercise.
So
Yeah.
when you do your four little images, ask anybody, Mr. Joe on the street, go up to him and be like, what is happening in this? And if they can tell you what's happening, that means it reads well. If they can't tell you what's happening, then you might need to rethink it.
Yeah, I still do that with any boards that I do for Maury's class, and Maury is
Yeah,
our
we do that
our
together.
storyboarding teacher.
Maury White is the first year storyboard teacher
Yeah.
and a 4th year mentor.
Yeah, he's also the guy that puts on all the Friday night films.
Yeah, so-
yeah, if you guys see that around Sheridan, he does like.
He's very
film.
passionate about
He's
it.
very nice.
Yes.
Talk to him.
That's nice.
He is.
Nice to talk about movies.
But yeah, he's a great, and anytime I do boards for him for his class, I always grab one of my roommates and drag him into my room and be like, all right, tell me what's going on with the story, and I just sit back, and that'll tell you what is not reading, like what parts of the story just aren't really working, like you can't really figure out what's going on. So if they can go through the whole thing and they're like, oh, that's awesome, then it's reading well, and
Yeah.
just
And you don't even have to be at a final drawing stage. You can be like essentially stick figures, like thumbnails, but
Yeah.
just to get an idea of what's going on. So
Yeah.
this kind of ties into a project we just finished up called the in-sequence assignment for character design, where we have to design a character and have them interact with an object, and we plan them out in like little thumbnails. And the good like idea of how well your story or gag is working is if someone could just go through all your thumbnails and understand what's going on.
Yeah, for sure.
And another thing too, make sure you do not do this in storyboards, because you definitely lose marks, is do not pose the storyboard characters in the pose that you're given. You'll lose marks for sure.
Yeah.
Pose them in anything else. Like, don't copy the one given on the template reference sheet.
Don't
Yeah,
do
that almost looks like you're like
Tracing.
Yeah.
tracing.
I know what I did was I really tried to make an effort to try to get different, like not all medium shots, so like not all of just like his upper torso. Upper torso. I tried to get one shot with him like full bodied, one shot with him maybe a close up, one shot of him maybe just the upper torso and
from above, from below.
Yeah,
Switching up
exactly.
the shots.
Yeah, work with the angles, but make sure you don't go over that invisible 180 line, or else it's gonna make it flip, and like the viewer's gonna be confused.
I had no idea about that when I did.
And try if possible really simplify your story, because technically these aren't really storyboards, they're beat boards. They're more of the story beats, like versus like storyboards for more successive drawings. So
like in the industry, the storyboards are a lot closer together. It's almost like you're.
It's almost like it's like an animatic. It's pretty much you could almost animate from based on just storyboards, which is what happens.
But yeah, because also they give you what they want, so it's like what character finds object, character attempts to use object, character.
Yeah, then you have an outcome.
Character finds object, then like shows curiosity, then attempts to use it, and then fails or succeeds.
Yeah. So make sure you stick to those, because again, that's another way they'll look to see if you're following instructions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think you really, if you have to fall down, if you like astray from that one, I think you'll just get automatic ones. If you like change the story.
Because you're obviously not doing what's required, so they're not gonna.
Yeah, but I mean, it's so you exercise creativity, but like stick to the thing.
Yeah,
like
use their beats, but like what object they interact with, how the character interacts with it, it's completely up to you. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, you can just as long as you keep the structure. Like my object was not necessarily an object; it was like it was a cat.
Yeah.
So he finds a cat and an old lady, and it's stuck in a tree, and then he goes over and goes to free the cat from the tree because he was this really like weird designed character that was tall. So I had him like go and reach and find the cat and pull it down, but like right when he reached for the cat like freaks out and attacks him. So.
I made him a drunk wino.
Yeah, a lot of people like that year. What was the name of that guy?
Earl.
Earl.
Oh, it was Earl.
It was Earl.
Yeah, everyone made him like just a drunk mess.
He looked like a drunk
He
mess.
looked like a trailer.
I think his character design reads as like an alcoholic.
Yeah,
Mine was like
his
the only
wife
one
beater, and like he doesn't go all the way down to his waist.
Yeah, exactly. The beer guy, he just like his posture.
Yeah,
like,
I just had him
he
being a
just
good
read
Samaritan.
Wino.
Just like.
I don't
Hey,
think we'll have.
winos can be good Samaritans too.
Well, I don't think we're gonna have much of that this year. It's with a little girl and a
They
rabbit.
look so
you'd
good
be
this
surprised.
year. Oh my god, I'm so jealous. The ones we had. Yeah, okay. Let's do my first pick. The next part we have is household objects.
Something happens to them.
Okay, so
Layout, yeah.
What did you guys
basically-
do?
Die. I
did
that
a-
part so much. I'm bad at that.
A parking what?
party.
A party.
Did I do a party? I don't know. Oh my god, I don't even
It's
know.
complicated, man.
It was.
I did a party, and then it got attacked by zombies.
Nice.
What do you guys mean by party?
Like a party
present,
too,
a balloon,
Oh.
a birthday
Birthday party then.
hat for
Yeah.
the cone, and
Yeah.
a pop can.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
sad party.
they specify. They specify what shapes they want to see. So they want like a cone, a cube, a cylinder.
Right. They have some sort of guidelines. around
Yeah,
it.
so make sure to incorporate objects that follow in those basic shapes because
Yeah.
they want to see that you can draw like spheres and circles.
And what they want to see is that you can move them in space. So like,
Right.
don't have them in the general. Like what I did on my first try was I had a bunch of objects that I thought were interesting and cool, and they stuck to the structure. But basically, I had them in the setup, and then I had a whale swallow them, and I had them inside the whale's stomach, but they were basically in the exact same setup. So just a tiny little bit changed. So really, I mean, that really didn't hit what they were looking for. They want you to just totally mess them around, move them somewhere. I've seen a bunch of drawings where they have them like floating in midair, like up in the air, like
Swept away by water.
There's
Yeah.
not much you can say about this other than like make sure your perspective is right.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Just make sure the objects are solid and they're not flat, and your composition is fairly decent.
Good composition, yes.
Don't have all the objects like lined up right beside each other. Have some space, let them breathe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I had a.
But some overlap
this
is nice.
This is
Yeah,
more,
definitely.
This is more technical than the other parts.
Yeah, I did a party. I had like an ice cream, like a tub of ice cream, which was my cylinder, and then I had like an ice cream scoop, and the head would have been my sphere, and then I had like cones for like
Ice cream cones?
and then I had like a plate, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And then like my end thing, like the ice cream thing was on the side, and like the scoop was stuck in it, and like there was like crushed cones and stuff.
Cool.
And mine, like I definitely object drawing. My first attempt and my second attempt were definitely my weakest ever for like anything in the portfolio.
Same.
And so what I did is I tried to play to my strengths a little bit. Like obviously I kept the story about the objects, but I think I had like a bowl, like a mug of water, and like a box of like pancake mix, like an apple or something. And the thing that happened was mine was a bunch of mice came in and they started messing with everything. So they poured the pancake mix into the bowl, and they made like a bath out of it, and they were playing around and like eating the stuff. So I at least tried to play to my strengths and added some characters into it.
Good.
But yeah, just to make it, I don't know, a bit more clear.
I just had like a waffle maker and
That's
a
cool
bunch of
idea.
like supplies, like
That's
2
smart.
eggs and like mixing cups. Like no, it was a bitch to draw though when it was open. Like it was
All those little...
if you ever want to do like a waffle maker or something, do like a pancake maker. Those ones that are flat, like drawing those little squares or not.
Yeah,
It's the worst thing probably.
Try to
Drive me
keep them
nuts.
as like simple, I guess, streamlined shapes, like
Right.
objects as possible. And the next is the
Well,
line
one more
room
thing would be
drawing.
like if you're having trouble coming up with like a concept or an idea, keep it basic and just make it simple.
Yeah,
But make
go
sure
with
the
it.
objects are drawn really well.
Yeah,
Like a
think of just
party.
like dinner, party, breakfast. You do a bathroom scene, like before and after someone uses like the bathroom, like the counter, like a bar of soap or like
What
a
do they do
soap
in the
dispenser.
bathroom?
I don't know.
Naughty
Like lots
things?
of things happen in the bathroom.
Like what?
Like I don't know. You guys know.
Why,
You
have
know what
never-
happens
Have
in
you
a
never
bathroom.
been in a bathroom, Danielle?
I have been in a bathroom.
Then you would know.
I don't know where this is going, but I'm just okay.
Going to the room.
Room
That's where
line
it's
drawing.
going.
Speaking of bathrooms, room line drawing. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so how did you guys approach the room drawing?
I just drew
Very
my room.
carefully.
man.
It took me a week
Reference.
straight.
Just
Yeah.
drew my room.
This one will take some time. Do not
Reference.
save this for later.
Go leading into
Yeah.
like time management, which we'll talk about a little bit later, will be so like the layout section of the portfolio is probably the most time consuming.
Yeah.
So don't save that for last minute. If
Yeah.
possible, start it as soon as possible. If you haven't started yet, do it now.
Yeah.
What I did was I did my dorm room, and I got my roommate to lay in my bed, and I like drew out like to get the proportions of like the person in the room. So if you're having trouble with making your character too big or too small, and you used you based your drawing on an actual room, then get someone to stand in the room for you so you can see like size proportion. And then if you're using that room, sit or lay where your person is and like look at what they see. So that's why I think reference, is the better choice with this one.
Reference
Don't
is
try to
good.
do something out of your head.
Also,
Yeah.
when you change the view to the person's perspective, make sure you include other parts of that room in that in the second drawing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
to
well,
connect the drawings. Make
To
sure you do
relate,
that,
yeah. To relate one drawing to the
completely
next.
different.
Yeah, obviously,
Looking kind of back.
gotta make sure you
Yeah.
have a connection that
And
links
then it
both
can
of
be
them.
cool too, because you could have something that's way in the background, and then in your next drawing, it's right up next to you in the foreground.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I almost did the same thing as Danielle on my first attempt. I had my little sister like lay down on the bed, but I didn't really have her adapted into a character. It was just like I drew my little sister, and it was like it didn't come out the best. Like the room drawing was pretty good, but on my second attempt, I just put my character design in my layout and just made the layout like his room, like what I thought that character's environment would be, and so it was cool. It added some story to it, which I
Yeah.
thought helped.
The one thing I learned from reading the art book for Big Hero 6 was make the room look like someone's lived in it if you're doing a bedroom. Like,
Yeah, that's a great
add personal
touch.
things that they would have in their room. Otherwise, you're just going to have, like, a basic room that doesn't have any story. And is story one of the elements for layout?
For the object drawings. I think.
Yeah, so just add things like, just, again, like,
Not for the room drawing though.
you could even bring your character that you did for the rotation and whatever like the profession could be or hobby be, like base that room on them, and make sure you're doing a room, nothing outside.
Yeah.
A room drawing.
Like
It doesn't have to be your bedroom, but it has to be a
Yeah.
room.
Yeah, I think I did. My first attempt was absolutely horrible, and I did my room, and it was very bad, and so I really wanted to improve and, I don't know, blow them out of the water with this second attempt. So this might have been a bad idea because it took me a very long time, but I designed a pub called the Wailing Walrus, and
Nice.
and yeah, I put 2 characters in there, and it took me, I think I had it taped on my desk for like 2 weeks, and that's all I worked on, like no other homework, no other anything. I just worked on that, and it still didn't turn out that great, but that's what I
Hey,
did.
you got in.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true.
You did
Fair
it.
enough.
I feel like the portfolio is, I don't know, because like we work a lot in the program. We do a lot of work. We spend a lot of sleepless nights. But that was like what the portfolio was. But
Yeah.
I think the added pressure of it like making or breaking, you being in the,
Because everything's dependent on that.
It's
Mhm.
true, yeah.
Yeah.
it makes it so much more stressful. Because I'm thinking realistically now. I was like, I probably spent just as much time on my portfolio as I do the work in the program. But I'm not as like.
You're not-
crazy-
yeah.
not as stressed out about it, not as crazy.
There's a
about
little
it.
bit of stress and
Yeah,
anxiety.
full with
That
everything.
in first year, just because there's lots of work, but that added pressure of that one, like, you turn it in, and that's the deciding factor whether or not, like,
You
Yeah.
get in or
that's like
not.
gonna make
your future's
It's,
begin.
Yeah.
it's tough because like we have the added bonus, like we know that this is leading to somewhere, career in the future, versus like a portfolio where it's like if you don't get in that year, you have to wait a whole nother year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It's tough.
No, it's hard. It's kind of like waiting for your actual life to begin.
Pretty
It's
much.
Like,
That's-
I just want to get
that was
there.
really hard. Like I struggled like with stress. I struggled with that. I just constantly felt like I was stuck, and I just wanted my life to begin.
Yeah.
Which isn't good. Don't let the portfolio do that to you. But it does happen.
And it happens to everyone.
It does.
Yeah, don't worry
I definitely
about
felt like I was like coasting,
Yeah.
waiting for something to start.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
tough, especially if you got friends either not specifically
That's-
getting into animation, but like you maybe have friends who are going off to university or whatever, and you're like, I didn't get in, and you're like, well,
Yeah, and
I'm
you
sitting here waiting for doing nothing almost, and my friends are getting off, starting potential careers and
their
stuff.
lives.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It's that's hard. Like to deal with that kind of stuff. But again, that's when it comes down to do you really want it or not.
Yeah, and I mean, in any case, like you're making progress. So it's like even if you don't get in, like having some kind of like plan B or something like that is great. And we have with us, I think everyone here did not get in on their first
No,
try.
you're right,
no,
yeah.
no first
No lucky
people
Yeah.
here.
preschoolers to
No,
get in.
no lucky. That's fun. Like it's, I don't know. I feel like I'm so amazed when I'm like meet people and they're like, yeah, I'm from high school, and I'm
It's like, damn.
holy moly.
shit.
Like my best friend, she got in right out of high school, but her words to me was, I wish I had, like I did fundies or VCA. She said I would have rather that.
You learn a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said
And it
helps.
makes you more prepared with the workload.
yeah. She said
That's you get to know Sheridan too.
Yeah.
Sorry, not too.
Yeah.
no, but that's exactly like all of the points you're making is exactly what she said. Like she said that she feels like she's not as strong as a lot of the kids who are older and did like previous courses. So I mean, it's not a bad thing, and it's not a good. No, it's not a bad.
It's not a good.
It's not a good. I mean, it sucks that you didn't get in, but like it's not a bad thing to do some extra schooling for art.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
helps you get
that's the one thing with art. Like you can only get better.
It helps.
Yeah. Sorry. Go.
No, keep. That's great. Go ahead.
So like, there's different ways of doing everything. So you could be taught by different teachers and learn like different things too. So there's nothing wrong with
Yeah. It
doing
helps
other forms
open your
of art.
mind to that, and also kind of get used to the college life. Because sometimes for some high school students, it's really stressful going from high school, which is the workload is frankly pretty low compared to the animation program, and then you come to this, and like all of a sudden it's an onslaught of
And-
work, and like
you're
you
way
pretty
more
much
independent.
exactly.
And if you're living on your own,
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
like so much other stuff besides school that you're worrying about
Right,
experiencing
right.
for the first time.
Right. Do your laundry, children.
yes, shower,
All of
food,
yeah.
sleep.
all of these things actually help like combat stress. If you can like you have a clean room or like you're eating well, sleeping well, that'll all help you make a better portfolio
Yeah.
because you're not going to be
So
like stressing
start
out and
early.
worrying.
Yes.
For people who are already applying.
for
Yeah.
people who might apply next
For
year.
people who might apply next year, or if you're hearing this 5 years from now, start early.
Yeah, or if you didn't get in this time, start like right away. Like, if you get that deny letter, just be like,
Don't be unmotivated.
Yeah.
Just go.
be like, I'm gonna show you up. I'm
Be
gonna get in
motivated.
next year.
Yeah.
Like, and start right then and there.
And it gets tough. Sometimes you might get a little depressed or pretty sad that you didn't get in. But like a way to help that is like proactively work towards getting that. So think to yourself, all right, I don't want to have this happen again next year. What can I do to get in? So
Right.
if that happened to me, I was pretty bummed out that I didn't get in the first time I applied, and I was saying, all right, well, I don't want this to happen again next year and waste more time. So what can I do? And I discovered the animation portfolio workshop in Toronto, and I was like, all right, I saw the work they put out and the portfolio. I was like, that's if I can get to a level like that, I could get in, and so I decided to take it, not waste any time.
Take it more not as like you're starting over again, but as like you're making yourself better. You're just continuing. You're like you're just
so much
use that.
from not getting it. Like you learn so much if you don't pass the portfolio.
Yeah.
Next time you go at it, you know so much more.
Mm-hmm.
All right, two of your favorite personal pieces, because we're at 55 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, I'll start it off and we'll just go around like we did before. This is actually the first year that I didn't submit a animated short film that I did that I submitted for my last one, but
Ambitious.
in high school, it was senior
A whole
year.
short film.
I knew what I wanted to do, but probably my favorite pieces are my watercolor paintings, because that's really put my heart into those, and I didn't even do those for the portfolio. And that, I mean, it shouldn't necessarily be that. It should just be like the things that you love the most.
Yeah, they even say that to you. It's like, just put what you like to do. If you like
Yeah.
drawing like characters, you like painting, put those in.
them
Like
in, yeah.
the one thing I will say to like anyone applying is like, don't worry about the personal pieces so much. Like I can guarantee you that your portfolio pieces aren't going to make or break your getting in.
Personal
It's
pieces, yeah.
pretty much the other work. But like, so
It's
just
really
have fun with the personal work, and you can even submit 5 life shrines if you're really have no idea what to put in your portfolio.
Yeah.
And I think my two favorite, the one I made like a little poster for me and my roommates for our apartment and our dog that we had. So that was fun, just a little cartoon thing. And then
Digital?
my other one, it was a digital thing. And then my other one was an assignment that I did in VCA where you had to make a poster. I don't know if I can really recommend this because they were characters, but they were live action characters. I turned the Goonies into a fighting game, and I called it Goonies Never Say Die. And I did like a little like the health bars and everything like that.
Well, to be honest, I see a lot of that where they'll take people will do like fan art of like Sherlock or Supernatural and stuff.
Really?
And like I have seen some stuff like that going, because you're not really copying characters
You're almost doing caricatures of actors.
It's like a caricature of an actor.
which is totally a.
But don't do that for your rotation.
Yeah, don't do that for
So we don't want to say don't do it. We don't want to say do it. It's just that we did. So and we're in.
And that's what this is more about. It's like what we did, not like what you should or should not do.
Just do whatever you want.
What I did was, I had been in the program, like I was in VCA year 2, so I really tried to use the assignments that were given to me as opportunities for extra pieces. So a lot of the stuff that I put in my portfolio were assignment pieces from my program I was in. So that's kind of nice because you can get you tend to get a lot of feedback from your art professors on the piece, whether it's working or not. So that kind of stuff is good to put in because you get that I guess expert or to feedback on your piece, whether it's a successful piece or not. And also it takes the added stress off of trying to come up with personal pieces. It takes the stress of trying to come up with personal pieces on top of your schoolwork, on top of the portfolio work. So just it's time management and try to, I guess, use what's given to you if you're kind of in this program right now.
Yeah.
Try to take advantage of those
resources.
Those assignments and make them into some maybe potential portfolio extra pieces. A lot of people did that.
My favorite piece was the only actual creative thing I did in rest of them were life drawings or development work for my character. She was a sci-fi bounty hunter, so I drew a mock-up of her what her ship would look like.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But that was the only because I don't know. I really spent most of my time on the other stuff, so I didn't put much work in professional pieces. So that was the only thing that was an actual personal piece I could use.
What do you have?
Oh, right.
Since your turn got skipped, Danielle.
No, we were going in order.
For 2 of them, my first one, I actually did the whole character rotation again for a new character. I did that whole section. I did the whole rotation, 2 poses, and expressions. And for like one personal piece, and I did a bone study of them.
Oh.
Oh, that's really.
And another one that I did like, and it was a huge my portfolio size was like the size of a newsprint.
Same here.
So
yeah.
I collaged them.
Really, all of us was the same?
Yeah.
You use that one too, Tyler?
Yeah, the
Big
huge
one?
yeah.
Because we always use the big one.
Yeah.
we all use the 18 by 24.
So I
portfolio.
collaged like all of that onto one page and printed it, and then for my second favorite portfolio piece, I scanned like a bunch of my sketchbook
Yeah, I did
drawings
that too.
and collaged those onto a
Yeah.
huge piece. So it doesn't have to even be finished work. It can just be like process work.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Something
just
we like to do.
express yourself
That
in this section.
That brings up a good point though, like size. Like they always say, doesn't matter what size, as long as it stays within their like the requirement, which is life drawing size. But I feel like the life drawing size fits itself for good organization. So if you go smaller, then you have to resize your life drawings and then also
Include them
include the originals.
somehow. Just fold it a bunch of times. That's what
Yeah.
I didn't get. When you fold it.
But I don't think that's very like optimal because I feel like it makes them have to work more than what they really should.
Yeah,
And
you're
if
gonna
you
have to scan it and print it if you do a smaller size.
Yeah, and sometimes I can distort your work. So
But if you do a big size, make sure that all of your character stuff and everything else
Is
where
mounted.
if they
Mounted
specify
nicely, yeah.
a size of paper, all that character stuff needs to be on 8.5 by 11.
yeah. So make sure it's all mounted. Like spend the extra time. Like that last week I had before my portfolio was due, I like themed my portfolio. So I made divider pages, labels, and like a little like entrance page just to like show them that you really care and you didn't just throw it all together at the ends. Because there is like a mark for overall portfolio, like impression.
It's presentation.
Like be a professional. Show them that you're a professional and that you really care enough to present your work organized and like.
Show them that you're taking it seriously.
Yeah.
You don't have to do
I,
something elaborate as Danielle and do little things. Like even a basic title page is enough.
I know people that like didn't even cut their storyboard straight,
Really?
and like they didn't even mount anything. Like they kind of just like stuck it in, and it was crooked, and they got in. So
Yeah. Don't worry too much.
The teachers are
Try to
taking-
make the effort
yeah.
into like
Yeah.
printing it out. So example, like if you have an 18 by 20 portfolio and you're putting your character stuff, don't put one sheet per page because
No.
that's you can get 4. I was able to get 4 per page with the 18
Yeah.
by 24. So
yeah.
Yeah, that kind of completes the whole portfolio. So we could talk about our favorite things maybe about our first year, and then
Or do you want to do
bookend
like
it.
backup plans?
But yeah. What was everyone's plan B?
We
Because
need
we
to
all
do.
had. I mean, we all actually lived through our plan
Yeah.
B.
Yeah, I plan
So,
C.
yeah. But yeah,
Oh.
for me it was just going from home to making the decision instead of to choose one of the lesser colleges that I had been accepted to. I decided to move to Sheridan and go and try again with a little bit more experience.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mine, the first time I applied, I took art fundies before I ever applied. And then when I applied, didn't get in, I took the second year of VCA because you can go right into second year if you took art fundies.
Yeah.
I did that, and then I applied to animation and Sheridan's illustration program. So doing those 2 portfolios at the same time was fun. And, but as a result of me focusing on animation, I didn't put as much effort into illustration. So I actually got yeah. So I actually got waitlisted for animation and accepted to illustration by like a nose. Like I got the exact mark I needed to be accepted in illustration.
And you tried more for animation?
Yeah, and I got waitlisted for animation, and so I thought like, all right, this is it. I guess if I don't get it, like I accepted illustration, and just waited to see if I was gonna get into animation. And I got a call one day. And I was
Yay!
super happy, yay! But yeah, I was gonna take illustration, and not to knock illustration whatsoever because
It's a great
It's an
program.
amazing
Yeah.
program.
Lots
I'm-
of friends in
I'm
there.
very
Yeah.
happy that I did not end up because I was like, I really want animation. So now that I'm thinking about it, if I didn't get in, I probably would have just taken a year off again or something because I don't know, illustration's great, but animation is what I really wanted to do.
See,
So-
what I was thinking was if I got into if I didn't get in this year, next year I would have done 3rd year VCA and applied for illustration and animation. And then if I got into illustration, I would do illustration, but I would continue to apply for animation.
Whoa, that's
That's
a lot of
work.
money.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
And money.
And money.
Yeah.
I was gonna go into advertising
Oh,
if I
really?
didn't get into.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just took the APW. I thought about it, and I decided not to go back to Sheridan that year because I just finished second year VCA, and third year VCA is kind of a joke with like a lot of arbitrary experimental art. There's no
Yep.
life drawing through third year, which is weird. So I decided I'll take the year off, save the money, and put it into the APW.
Yeah, and that's a great plan B as well. APWs. I'm a teacher's assistant in training.
Biased.
I am
I'm joking.
biased.
He has no agenda.
I'm
I think it's
Selling
great.
it. He's
Mark
selling
thinks it's
it.
great. But yeah.
I'm joking.
But yeah, I would not like. I'll give a little.
Well, we're at just over an hour.
Yep, we're at hour 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think as a nice bookend,
We'll touch
thank
upon
you
what
for
we-
listening to the
Animation
Lunchbox.
Lunchbox.
All right,
First
everybody.
one.
Yeah. Have a
We
nice
hope to
day.
have many more
Bye.
left.
Good luck on your portfolios.
Don't die.
And if you have any
Yeah.
questions, you can email us at the link below.
We'll link our
Or
Tumblr and or
comments in the
Blogspot,
video.
Instagram, whatever accounts to the
Yeah.
bottom.
And
So-
or comment on the video.
Have
Yeah.
a lovely
We'll do our best.
afternoon.
Yeah.
Morning, evening,
Morning,
whatever.
evening,
Whenever
wherever
you listen
you
to this.
are, whoever you are.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks.